The first moments after you wake up are some of the most powerful moments of your entire day. Moments that hold the key to either empowering yourself or allowing laziness to creep back in and take control. Your mind, upon waking, is a blank canvas, a fresh page, untouched by the distractions, worries, and stresses of the world. It is in these moments that you have the absolute opportunity to dictate the direction of your day, to set the tone for every action, thought, and decision you make. The way you begin your morning determines the quality of your energy, your focus, and your ability to accomplish tasks. It is not just about getting out of bed and going through motions. It is about intentionally and deliberately engaging your mind, fueling it with thoughts that inspire action, and creating a mindset that refuses to tolerate laziness or delay. The process begins with understanding that the mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is vividly imagined. The thoughts you allow to dominate your mind first thing in the morning will imprint themselves upon your subconscious. And your subconscious is the engine that drives your behavior throughout the day. If you allow your mind to wander aimlessly, to entertain excuses, complaints, or feelings of fatigue, you are planting seeds that will grow into patterns of inaction and procrastination. But if you take control, if you consciously choose to feed your mind with positive, empowering thoughts, are programming your subconscious to act, to move, to engage fully in every opportunity presented to you. This is the power of a morning mindset. Every successful individual understands that waking up is not merely a physical act. It is a mental event, a chance to decide who they will be, how they will act, and what they will accomplish. The mind is like fertile soil, ready to receive seeds. Laziness, procrastination, and indecision are the weeds that can take over if you do not carefully cultivate what you plant. By choosing to start your day with clarity, purpose, and intention, you are effectively removing the weeds before they take root, replacing them with strong, vibrant seeds of focus, determination, and productivity. This cultivation of the mind requires consistency, repetition, and a firm commitment to yourself. The moment your eyes open, you must reject the pull of comfort that lulls you into inactivity and instead embrace the power of conscious thought. You can start with simple affirmations, powerful statements that assert your commitment to action and excellence. Statements that remind you of your goals, your potential, and your responsibility to yourself. These affirmations are not mere words. They are instructions to your subconscious, signals that demand attention and action. Alongside affirmations, taking a few moments for deep, intentional breathing can awaken the mind and body simultaneously, creating an internal energy that dispels lethargy and primes your system for engagement. Visualization is another powerful tool in this process. By vividly imagining yourself completing your tasks, achieving your goals, and moving with energy and purpose, you are not only motivating yourself, but also programming your subconscious to recognize these actions as natural and attainable. The mind begins to operate in alignment with these mental images, steering your behavior toward productivity and away from delay. Another critical element of morning mindset mastery is reflection. By briefly reviewing the purpose of your day, the actions that will lead to success, the person you intend to become, you anchor yourself in intention rather than reaction. Laziness often thrives in the absence of clarity, in moments when the mind drifts without direction. By defining the desired outcome and mentally rehearsing the steps required, you create a clear path that your subconscious is eager to follow. It is also essential to understand the emotional component of morning mindset. The emotions you cultivate in the first minutes of your day, whether excitement, determination, confidence, or gratitude, are contagious internally, influencing every thought and action that follows. Laziness is closely tied to low energy, doubt, and lack of motivation. And by consciously generating empowering emotions, you create an internal environment where laziness has no foothold. This is why the morning is the ultimate battlefield for personal success. Those who master their mind in these initial moments gain an undeniable advantage over those who allow themselves to drift, hit snooze, or scroll through distraction. The brain, when consistently fed with focused, empowering thought patterns at the start of the day, begins to crave action, efficiency, and achievement, turning productivity into a habit rather than a chore. Over time, this practice strengthens mental discipline, enhances resilience, and develops an unshakable commitment to personal growth. Every time you wake up and intentionally take control of your thoughts, you are building a foundation that makes laziness increasingly irrelevant. It is in these moments, quiet and unobserved by the world, that greatness is forged, that the individual who refuses to be controlled by inertia begins to emerge strong, determined, and fully alive to the opportunities before them, creating a ripple effect that impacts every aspect of the day, from work to relationships to personal fulfillment, establishing patterns of energy, clarity, and unstoppable drive that define a life lived with purpose. The human body and mind are deeply interconnected, and the way you treat your body the moment you wake up has a profound effect on your energy, motivation, and ability to overcome laziness. Movement is life, and the lack of it creates stagnation, lethargy, and a mental state that invites procrastination. When you rise in the morning, your muscles may feel stiff, your joints may protest, and your mind may still linger in a fog of sleepiness. But this is precisely the moment to take control and ignite your body into action. Physical activation is not merely about exercise for appearance or weight management. It is about awakening the life force within you, about sending signals to your brain that you are ready to engage fully with your day. Simple movements, even a few minutes of stretching, yoga, or calisthenics, trigger a cascade of physiological and psychological responses that make laziness impossible to maintain. As you move, your heart rate increases slightly, circulation improves, and oxygen flows more freely to every part of your body, including the brain. This oxygen-rich environment stimulates alertness, mental clarity, and a sense of vitality that contrasts sharply with the sluggishness that often accompanies mornings of inactivity. Even a brief burst of movement communicates to your subconscious mind that you are committed to action, that you are choosing productivity over delay, and that you will not allow inertia to dictate your life. The concept of physical activation goes beyond the mechanics of movement. It is about creating momentum. When the body is in motion, the mind follows. There is a neurological connection between muscle engagement and neural firing that primes you for focus, decision-making, and sustained effort. When you initiate movement, your brain releases neurotransmitters such as dopamine and endorphins, which enhance mood, motivation, and drive. Laziness thrives when the body is still, when the mind is untethered, and when energy is stagnant. But even a few minutes of deliberate activity shatters that pattern. Morning physical activation also establishes a rhythm and structure for the day. By setting aside intentional time to move your body first thing, you are teaching yourself that action precedes comfort, that results come from effort, and that success is not a passive state, but an active pursuit. This practice cultivates discipline, reinforces self-respect, and strengthens the mental habit of starting strong, which is essential for defeating laziness consistently. Another crucial aspect is the psychological boost that comes from feeling your body awaken. When you stretch your muscles, rotate your joints, or engage in light cardio, you signal to your brain that you are present, alive, and ready to participate fully in the world. This heightened state of awareness reduces mental fog, increases confidence, and sharpens focus, allowing you to approach tasks with clarity and energy rather than dread and procrastination. The body also stores energy in cycles, and movement in the morning activates those stores, unlocking vitality that may otherwise remain dormant. The interplay of physical and mental energy is essential. The more you move, the more your mind feels capable, and the more capable your mind feels, the more likely you are to take action rather than succumb to laziness. Physical activation can take many forms, and the exact method is less important than the consistency and intention behind it. Whether it is a brisk walk, a series of stretches, push-ups, or jumping jacks, the critical factor is that you are signaling to both body and mind that this day is not a day for idleness. Even mindfulness incorporated into movement, such as focusing on breath or feeling each muscle engage, amplifies the effect, creating a synergy between mental clarity and physical readiness that dismantles laziness at its root. Over time, this daily practice becomes a ritual, a non-negotiable part of your morning that programs your body and mind for productivity. Laziness cannot compete with a system that consistently prioritizes energy, motion, and momentum. As your body grows accustomed to this pattern, resistance to action decreases, self-discipline strengthens, and your capacity for sustained effort increases dramatically. The ripple effect of this morning activation extends beyond immediate energy levels. It influences the choices you make throughout the day, your resilience under stress, your ability to focus on challenging tasks, and your overall sense of purpose. Physical activation is the spark that lights the fire of productivity, the bridge between intention and action. Practice that converts potential energy into kinetic energy, ensuring that laziness has no opportunity to take root. Every small movement in the morning compounds into greater energy, greater motivation, and a stronger habit of decisive action, building a foundation of momentum that carries through work, relationships, and personal goals, creating a life where inertia is replaced with drive, fatigue with vitality, and hesitation with consistent forward motion. The principle is simple yet profound. When the body moves, the mind moves, and when the mind moves, laziness cannot survive, leaving only focus, clarity, and unstoppable energy that propels you into the day with purpose and determination. Reinforcing the idea that movement is not optional, but essential for anyone serious about defeating laziness. The power of the mind is extraordinary, and one of the most effective ways to harness that power in the morning is through the practice of visualization. Visualization is not a mere daydream or idle fantasy. It is a deliberate, focused act of seeing in your mind's eye exactly what you want to achieve, how you want to feel, and the actions you intend to take. When performed first thing in the morning, visualization sets the tone for the entire day, programming your subconscious mind to align with your goals and creating a magnetic pull toward action and productivity. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real, which means that when you consistently see yourself completing tasks, achieving milestones, and moving with energy and purpose, your mind begins to treat those visions as actual directives to act. This is where laziness is neutralized, because your internal programming now prioritizes action over delay, effort over hesitation, and accomplishment over inertia. Every successful individual understands the power of seeing the outcome before the journey is complete. And morning visualization is the mechanism through which that principle manifests. The process begins with clarity. You must know exactly what you wish to see, feel, and experience. It is not enough to vaguely hope for productivity or success. You must create a detailed, sensory-rich mental image. Imagine the sights, the sounds, the sensations, even the emotions associated with achieving your goals. Feel the satisfaction of completing your most important task first, the pride of making progress toward your larger ambitions, the energy coursing through your body as you take decisive action. This richness of detail tells your subconscious mind that the scenario is real, triggering neural pathways and psychological responses that motivate tangible behavior. The brain, when consistently exposed to these vivid images, begins to anticipate them as reality. This anticipation generates internal drive, confidence, and readiness, creating a psychological environment where laziness has no room to thrive. Visualization also establishes a mental roadmap. By mentally rehearsing the steps necessary to achieve your goals, you train your mind to recognize obstacles before they appear, to anticipate challenges, and to develop strategies to overcome them. This mental preparation reduces hesitation and fear, which are often the breeding grounds of procrastination. When you see yourself moving confidently through your day, taking action efficiently, and achieving outcomes, your subconscious starts guiding your thoughts and decisions toward those same results, making action almost automatic and laziness nearly impossible to sustain. Another profound aspect of morning visualization is its emotional component. The feelings associated with seeing yourself succeed: confidence, excitement, determination, gratitude, and pride are contagious internally. Emotions drive behavior far more powerfully than logic alone. When you immerse yourself in the positive emotions of achievement before the day begins, you create an energetic momentum that propels you into action, replacing fatigue, doubt, and indifference with purpose, enthusiasm, and unwavering drive. Visualization also strengthens belief. Consistently imagining success rewires the mind to accept that success is not only possible but inevitable with the right effort. The subconscious mind begins to view laziness, distraction, and procrastination as incompatible with the reality you are mentally rehearsing. This mental alignment translates into consistent, focused effort in the physical world as your thoughts and actions begin to harmonize with the vision you have created. For visualization to be effective, it must be practiced daily, ideally first thing in the morning, when the mind is fresh, uncluttered, and most receptive. Repetition builds neural pathways that reinforce productive habits, and over time, visualization becomes a self-sustaining mechanism for motivation, focus, and discipline. Small, incremental improvements imagined each morning compound into significant progress over weeks, months, and years. It also cultivates resilience, as seeing yourself successfully navigating challenges mentally prepares you to confront obstacles without succumbing to procrastination or discouragement. This practice turns the mind into a magnet for opportunities, ideas, and actions that align with your desired outcomes. Even when fatigue, distraction, or resistance arise later in the day, the mental imprint established in the morning provides a guiding compass, reminding you of your capability, your purpose, and your commitment to action. Visualization also encourages a proactive mindset. Rather than reacting to circumstances, you are guiding them. You are not waiting for motivation to appear, are generating it internally through deliberate mental rehearsal. Laziness cannot survive in an environment where the mind is constantly anticipating success, where the subconscious has been trained to act decisively, and where emotions are aligned with purpose. The impact of visualization ripples outward, influencing your entire day, how you approach tasks, how you interact with others, and how you allocate your energy. It strengthens focus, amplifies productivity, and makes discipline feel natural, not forced. By starting your morning with this practice, you establish a powerful pattern that reinforces confidence, clarity, and relentless action, creating an internal ecosystem in which laziness is consistently overpowered by deliberate, inspired, and unstoppable effort, ensuring that each day begins with intention, momentum, and a clear trajectory toward achievement, shaping not only your immediate results, but the long-term trajectory of your personal growth, success, and fulfillment. The moment you begin your day, the single most powerful strategy to obliterate laziness is to take immediate action on your highest priority task. This is not about doing the easiest thing first or waiting until inspiration strikes. It is about deliberately choosing to confront the task that will have the greatest impact on your goals, your growth, and your sense of accomplishment. Laziness thrives in delay, in the space between intention and action, in the moments when the mind entertains excuses, distractions, or hesitation. By committing to act decisively and immediately, you break that cycle before it begins, establishing a pattern of proactivity that carries through every area of your life. Taking immediate action requires clarity and courage. You must identify the task that, if completed first, will move you closer to your goals more than anything else on your plate. This task may be challenging, uncomfortable, or demanding, but precisely because it requires effort, it is the most effective antidote to the inertia that laziness creates. When you begin your day by facing difficulty head-on rather than postponing it, you program your mind to value productivity over comfort, action over stagnation, and results over excuses. The act of completing this priority task sets the tone for your entire day. It creates a psychological momentum that propels you forward, making subsequent tasks easier to approach and diminishing the temptation to procrastinate. There is a unique energy that arises from accomplishment and internal satisfaction that reinforces confidence, discipline, and motivation. This energy is amplified when your first action of the day is meaningful, productive, and aligned with your larger objectives. Immediate action also rewires your relationship with time. Laziness often emerges from a false perception that there is always tomorrow, or that circumstances must be perfect before we can act. By choosing to act now without waiting for ideal conditions or external prompts, you cultivate a sense of urgency and purpose that trains your mind to seize opportunities and take responsibility for results. The subconscious mind is particularly responsive to repeated behaviors. And by consistently practicing immediate priority action each morning, you develop an automatic response to challenges. You act first, you think later, and you allow progress to dictate your day rather than letting indecision dominate. This creates a feedback loop of productivity where each completed task reinforces the belief that action is the most powerful tool against laziness, and that results are achieved through effort rather than idle waiting. Another critical dimension of taking immediate action is the mental clarity it generates. When you approach the most important task first, your mind is fully alert, focused, and free from the clutter of accumulated worries, distractions, and stressors. Completing significant work early in the day reduces cognitive load, allowing for sharper decision-making, enhanced creativity, and a sense of mastery over your schedule. This clarity directly combats the mental fog that often accompanies procrastination and delays, ensuring that energy is directed toward meaningful outcomes rather than dissipated on trivial or reactive activities. The principle of immediate priority action is reinforced by the emotional feedback it provides. Each time you accomplish something significant at the start of the day, your confidence grows, your sense of competence strengthens, and your self-discipline is reinforced. Laziness cannot coexist with this pattern because your internal narrative shifts. You become the person who acts decisively, who values results, and who honors commitments to yourself. Over time, this daily practice of tackling the most important task first becomes a habit that transcends individual days, shaping your overall approach to work, challenges, and personal growth. It transforms you into a person who initiates action naturally, who does not wait for motivation to arrive, who understands that momentum is built through consistent, deliberate effort rather than idle contemplation. Taking immediate action also fosters resilience. Confronting the most difficult or important task at the beginning of the day trains your mind to handle discomfort, uncertainty, and complexity with composure and determination. This resilience becomes a protective barrier against laziness, as it reduces the fear and resistance that often fuel procrastination. The process also enhances time management, as completing priority tasks early frees mental and temporal space for the remaining activities of the day, ensuring that energy is allocated efficiently and effectively. Each morning, the practice of acting immediately on priority tasks reinforces the understanding that success is a result of disciplined, consistent effort rather than sporadic bursts of inspiration. It teaches the mind and body that accomplishment is not a reward to be waited for, but a standard to be established, a principle to be embodied, and a habit to be cultivated relentlessly. By beginning the day with decisive action, you lay the foundation for continuous achievement, instilling a mindset where laziness is systematically replaced with determination, focus, and unstoppable momentum, and where every task, challenge, and opportunity become an invitation to act, to grow, and to advance relentlessly toward the life you are capable of creating, ensuring that your mornings are not moments of hesitation, but launching points for extraordinary productivity, self-mastery, and personal transformation. Starting your day with gratitude and mental focus is a powerful strategy that directly combats laziness and builds a foundation for sustained energy, clarity, and productivity. Gratitude is more than a polite acknowledgement or a fleeting thought. It is a deliberate mental practice that shifts your brain from scarcity, complaint, and lethargy to abundance, appreciation, and action. When you begin each morning by consciously recognizing the blessings in your life, the opportunities available to you, and the strengths you possess, you are creating a mental environment where laziness cannot take hold. The mind is extremely responsive to emotional states, and gratitude generates positive emotions such as joy, confidence, and optimism. These emotions act as catalysts for action, energizing your body, sharpening your focus, and preparing you to tackle tasks with enthusiasm rather than hesitation. Laziness often thrives in negativity, in a mental climate of complaint, self-pity, or fear. When your first thoughts are grounded in gratitude, you are actively replacing mental patterns that breed procrastination with ones that fuel determination, creativity, and resilience. Mental focus is the second critical component of this practice. Gratitude alone, while powerful, needs to be paired with deliberate attention to the priorities, intentions, and actions that will define your day. Focusing your mind first thing in the morning on what truly matters aligns your subconscious with your conscious objectives, ensuring that your energy flows toward achievement rather than distraction. Without focus, gratitude can remain abstract, a pleasant feeling without actionable consequences. But when combined with clear mental focus, gratitude becomes a launching pad for decisive action. This practice begins with taking a few moments each morning to pause and reflect. Close your eyes and deliberately acknowledge the aspects of your life that are positive. Your health, relationships, personal abilities, resources, and the opportunities that lie ahead. As you dwell on these blessings, you are activating neural pathways that enhance positivity, motivation, and resilience. The mind begins to perceive challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. And laziness, which feeds on doubt and hesitation, loses its grip. Following this acknowledgement, mental focus requires setting clear intentions for the day. Visualize the key tasks that need to be completed, the actions that will drive progress toward your larger goals, and the attitudes you wish to embody. By combining gratitude with a vivid mental roadmap, you are signaling to your subconscious mind that the day is purposeful, that every moment has potential, and that your time and energy are to be directed with discipline and clarity. Another profound effect of starting the day with gratitude and mental focus is the psychological empowerment it provides. Gratitude reminds you that despite any current challenges, you possess the resources, skills, and opportunities to make meaningful progress. This empowerment directly counteracts the excuses, lethargy, and self-doubt that feed laziness, replacing them with a sense of capability, readiness, and determination. Mental focus reinforces this empowerment by giving direction and structure to your energy. Laziness often emerges when the mind is scattered, overwhelmed, or uncertain of where to begin. By clearly defining your priorities and concentrating your thoughts on the most impactful actions, you create an internal architecture of discipline, efficiency, and purpose over time. This daily ritual strengthens habits of consistency and self-mastery. Your mind begins to associate the first moments of waking with energy, clarity, and productive momentum rather than fatigue, hesitation, and avoidance. Gratitude becomes a habitual lens through which you interpret your experiences, while focus becomes the automatic mechanism through which you allocate your time, attention, and effort. This combination also improves resilience and emotional stability. When faced with challenges, setbacks, or distractions, a mindset grounded in gratitude and clarity allows you to respond proactively rather than reactively. Laziness thrives on discouragement and uncertainty, but by cultivating a mental environment of appreciation and intention, you are equipping yourself to move forward consistently, even in the presence of difficulty. Furthermore, this practice enhances overall well-being. Gratitude lowers stress, reduces mental clutter, and fosters a sense of fulfillment. While mental focus directs your energy toward productive outcomes rather than wasted effort. Together, they create a harmonious synergy that amplifies productivity, sharpens decision-making, and sustains motivation throughout the day. Engaging in gratitude and focus each morning also trains your brain to recognize and seize opportunity for improvement and growth, to approach each task with intention, and to resist the pull of idleness. Laziness becomes not only unnecessary but incompatible with the mindset you are cultivating as your emotions, attention, and actions are aligned toward progress, achievement, and self-mastery. By embedding gratitude and mental focus into your morning routine, you are creating a framework for unstoppable momentum, ensuring that your mind is clear, energized, and directed, that your actions are deliberate, and that each day begins not as a struggle against lethargy, but as a launch pad for productivity, creativity, and consistent advancement toward the life you envision, shaping patterns of thought, behavior, and energy that naturally repel laziness and elevate every moment into an opportunity for growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Consistency is the secret weapon in the battle against laziness, and creating daily rituals in the morning is the most powerful way to build unstoppable momentum. Laziness thrives on unpredictability, on days without structure, on moments when the mind and body are left to drift aimlessly without direction. When you establish consistent morning rituals, you are programming yourself for action, discipline, and high performance. These rituals do not need to be grand or complicated. They need to be intentional, purposeful, and repeated every day until they become second nature. Consistency builds habit, and habit is the infrastructure of success. Each morning, as you engage in the same empowering actions, whether it is mindset mastery, movement, visualization, immediate priority action, or gratitude, you are reinforcing neural pathways in your brain that favor productivity, focus, and energy over lethargy and procrastination. Over time, this repetition transforms these actions from conscious effort into automatic behavior. What once required willpower and deliberate attention becomes an effortless part of your day, a non-negotiable system that drives momentum without constant deliberation. The beauty of ritual lies in its ability to bypass resistance. Laziness is often rooted in the mental friction of deciding when, how, or whether to act. Each morning, a ritual removes that friction by providing a clear, repeatable sequence of actions that must be performed. When the mind knows exactly what comes next, it expends far less energy on debate or hesitation and far more energy on execution. Rituals create a psychological and physical rhythm that your mind and body learn to anticipate. This rhythm fosters energy, focus, and clarity, signaling to your subconscious that each day is a structured opportunity to advance toward goals rather than a random series of challenges to endure. Consistency also compounds results. Just as small deposits grow into wealth through interest and time, small, repeated action in the morning grow into extraordinary levels of achievement, discipline, and resilience. One morning of discipline may not seem significant, but repeated over weeks, months, years, it produces momentum so powerful that laziness is no longer a viable option. The act of committing to a morning ritual demonstrates self-respect and personal accountability. By choosing to honor your time, energy, and potential each day, you are training your mind to value effort, consistency, and progress. This internal standard becomes a framework for all other behaviors, reinforcing a lifestyle in which laziness, delay, and procrastination feel unnatural and undesirable. Furthermore, consistent rituals cultivate mental toughness. Each morning presents an opportunity to practice discipline, to push past resistance, and to assert control over your choices and actions. The more you engage in this practice, the stronger your ability to act decisively grows. Laziness cannot survive in an environment where action is habitual, where the mind is trained to respond to opportunity with effort rather than hesitation, and where momentum is built deliberately and consistently. Another critical effect of morning rituals is the creation of compound momentum. Completing a series of intentional actions early in the day generates energy, confidence, and a sense of accomplishment that carries forward into subsequent tasks. Each task feeds the next, and the initial act of discipline becomes a catalyst for continued productivity, establishing a virtuous cycle in which action breeds more action and inertia becomes impossible to sustain. The key to success with rituals is their non-negotiable nature. They must be performed consistently, regardless of mood, circumstances, or distraction. Laziness often arises when effort is conditional, when action depends on feelings, convenience, or motivation. By embedding your morning rituals into a fixed structure, you remove these variables, ensuring that progress is made every day, independent of external factors. Rituals also reinforce identity. Each time you honor your morning practice, you are telling yourself who you are and what you stand for. You become the person who acts with discipline, who values consistency, who prioritizes growth, and who refuses to succumb to inertia. Laziness begins to feel foreign because it contradicts the identity you are cultivating through your daily actions. Over time, this identity becomes automatic, guiding your behavior effortlessly and ensuring that each day starts with energy, focus, and purpose. In addition, rituals create a sense of mastery over time and self. By controlling your mornings, you establish control over your day. By controlling your day, you establish control over your life. Laziness is effectively neutralized because your mental and physical systems are aligned, energized, and programmed for sustained action. Consistent morning rituals provide a framework that integrates all the principles of success mindset, movement, visualization, priority action, and gratitude into a seamless, repeatable process that compounds momentum daily. This structure produces resilience, focus, energy, and clarity, ensuring that each day begins not with hesitation or idleness, but with purpose, action, and unstoppable drive, creating an internal environment in which laziness has no foothold, in which progress becomes inevitable, and in which the trajectory of your life is guided consistently toward growth, achievement, and personal excellence, establishing a standard for yourself that elevates every action, thought, and decision into an opportunity to move closer to the person you are capable of becoming, reinforcing the principle that momentum, once initiated and sustained through consistent ritual, becomes the natural state of your day, your energy, and your life.